9 hikers entered the mountains. None came back. Alive? The Dyatlov Pass. Mystery. What if a group of experienced hikers entered the wilderness fully prepared, only to be found dead weeks later under circumstances so strange that even today, decades later, people are still trying to figure out what happened? No signs of a murderer, no clear evidence of an attack, no definitive explanation, just questions. A lot of questions. This is the story of one of the most disturbing mysteries ever recorded. A case that continues to haunt investigators, researchers, and conspiracy theorists around the world. This is the Dyatlov Pass mystery. Welcome back to Case 0360. I'm Sasha. And tonight, we're diving into a real-life case that remains one of the strangest mysteries in modern history. The year was 1959. The Soviet Union was in the middle of the Cold War. 9 young and experienced hikers set out on an ambitious winter expedition deep into the Ural Mountains. These weren't amateurs. Most of them were skilled outdoor adventurers with extensive experience surviving harsh conditions. The group was led by a 23-year-old engineering student named Igor Dyatlov. The mission seemed simple: complete the challenging trek, reach the destination, return home. But they never did. On January 23, 1959, the group departed on their journey. Friends and family expected them back within a few weeks. At first, nobody worried. Delays were common during winter expeditions. Weather conditions could change rapidly. Travel schedules often shifted. But as the days passed, concern began to grow. Eventually, worried relatives pushed authorities to launch a search operation. What investigators discovered would become one of the most mysterious crime files in history. The search teams first located the hikers' campsite. And immediately, something felt wrong. Very wrong. The tent had been abandoned. But it wasn't simply left behind. Investigators noticed that the fabric had been cut open from the inside. Think about that for a moment. The hikers appeared to have sliced their way out of their own shelter. Why would experienced adventurers do that? Why not use the entrance? What could have terrified them enough to force such a desperate escape? The mystery deepened when footprints were discovered leading away from the tent. Some of the tracks suggested people had left in socks. Others appeared barefoot. This was the middle of a brutal Russian winter. Temperatures had dropped far below freezing. Leaving the safety of a tent without proper clothing could easily become a death sentence. Yet that appeared to be exactly what happened. Investigators followed the footprints downhill. Eventually, they discovered the first bodies. 2 members of the group were found beneath a large cedar tree. Evidence suggested they had attempted to start a fire. Nearby branches appeared broken, as though someone had climbed the tree. But why? Were they trying to look for something? Or someone? Not far away, search teams found 3 more bodies, including the expedition leader, Igor Dyatlov. The positions of the bodies suggested something unusual. It appeared they had been trying to return to the tent, almost as if they had fled from danger. Then later attempted to go back, but never made it. Months later, after snow began melting, investigators found the remaining 4 hikers. Their discovery raised even more questions. Some of these victims had suffered severe injuries, yet there was surprisingly little external trauma visible. Experts compared some injuries to those seen in major vehicle collisions. But there was no vehicle. No evidence of a fight. No signs of another group attacking them. Nothing seemed to make sense. As news of the case spread, theories exploded. And over the decades, hundreds of explanations have been proposed. Some are realistic. Others sound like something from a science fiction movie. Let's start with the most common theory: an avalanche. According to this explanation, the hikers may have believed a snowslide was about to strike their tent. Panicking, they quickly escaped. In darkness and extreme weather, they became separated and eventually succumbed to the cold. For many years, however, avalanche experts questioned this theory. The terrain didn't seem consistent with a large avalanche. Some investigators argued there wasn't enough evidence. Others pointed out that experienced hikers would likely recognize the warning signs. Still, modern researchers have suggested that a smaller, unusual snowslide may explain at least part of what happened. Another theory involves military testing. Remember, this was the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Some people believe the hikers accidentally entered an area where secret military experiments were taking place. Perhaps they witnessed something they weren't supposed to see. Supporters of this theory point to reports from the time describing strange lights in the sky. Witnesses claim they observed glowing objects over the region. Could they have been military rockets, experimental weapons, classified tests? To this day, no conclusive evidence has emerged. Then there are the more extreme theories. Some people believe the hikers encountered an unknown creature. Others suggest extraterrestrial involvement. There are even theories involving secret government cover-ups. While these explanations capture public imagination, most investigators remain skeptical. The problem is simple. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and so far no evidence has ever confirmed these sensational ideas. But perhaps the most disturbing possibility is that there wasn't a single dramatic event. Perhaps the tragedy resulted from a chain reaction of smaller problems. Imagine this scenario. The group hears a frightening sound. They believe danger is approaching. They quickly leave the tent. In darkness, freezing temperatures, and confusion, they become separated. The weather worsens, panic increases, bad decisions follow. A survival situation turns deadly. This explanation may not sound as exciting as secret experiments or mysterious creatures, but sometimes reality is more terrifying than fiction, because it reminds us how quickly ordinary situations can spiral out of control. What makes this case so compelling isn't just the mystery, it's the lack of certainty. Most major investigations eventually produce answers. Even if those answers are imperfect, the Dyatlov Pass case never truly did. Authorities eventually closed the investigation. The official conclusion was vague. Essentially, the hikers had died because of an unknown compelling force. Think about how strange that sounds. An unknown compelling force. Not a specific person, not a confirmed accident, just an unexplained event. For decades, researchers continued studying the evidence. Books were written, documentaries were produced, experts revisited the case again and again. Each new theory solved some questions while creating new ones. And that is why this mystery refuses to disappear. The human mind hates unanswered questions. We want explanations. We want closure. We want a clear beginning, middle, and end. The Dyatlov Pass mystery doesn't provide that. Instead, it leaves us standing in the snow, staring into the darkness, wondering what really happened. Perhaps the truth has already been discovered and simply lost over time. Perhaps important evidence was missed. Or perhaps the full story died with the hikers themselves. Whatever happened on that mountain, 9 people never returned home. 9 families were left searching for answers. And generations later, the world is still asking the same question. What happened that night? Was it nature, human error, a secret operation, or something else entirely? The truth may never be known. And maybe that's what makes this case so disturbing. Not the mystery itself, but the possibility that some mysteries remain unsolved forever. As long as questions remain unanswered, the Dyatlov Pass mystery will continue to fascinate people around the world. A frozen puzzle trapped in time, a tragedy without a definitive explanation, and one of the most unsettling cases ever recorded. What do you think happened on that mountain? Let us know your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy real-life mysteries, unsolved cases, and disturbing investigations, make sure to subscribe to Case 0360. I'm Sasha, and I'll see you in the next case.